What's happening with Microstrategy? The volatility in their stocks is off the charts. This speaks volumes. Also, cryptocurrency continues to rise. There is tremendous potential, and there's a lot of movement in this company's stock price. Let's delve into what's happening in detail. Let's start with volatility as usual. First off, volatility continues to rise. I would pay very close attention to this because it can lead to very solid risk-free strategies in the stocks. The volatility is very, very high. Let's look at the volatility smile. You'll see that something very rare is happening. Volatility drops at the $600 level. It's very pronounced. Typically, we have the lowest volatility at the stock price level, but right now, volatility is at its lowest at $500 to $700 levels. Then it starts to rise. And as time goes on, volatility also increases. It's a very interesting point, but it's certainly tied to cryptocurrency as this stock depends on Bitcoin price movement. We'll touch on Bitcoin shortly as well. Let's see the open interest in the stocks for this company. As we can see, the options are spread throughout the volume, but I want to point out that their volume is actually very small. And look at the huge price at the $2,500 level. Why this particular level? Let me explain. Also, our options are fairly evenly distributed across the board. Historical volatility is also an implied volatility, as we can see, currently exceeds historical volatility. Let's return to the emphasis of what's happening in the previous review. I mentioned that with Bitcoin moving to $100,000, although again, I'm not claiming that will happen. Rather, I don't believe it yet, but with Bitcoin moving to $100,000, Microstrategy could reach $2,000. That's a minimum because Microstrategy currently holds 200,000 Bitcoins. And if we multiply $100,000 by 200,000, it equals $20 billion, which would be solely in Bitcoins for this company. But according to the latest data, there might be a change because, as we see, this company is growing much faster than Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin reaches $100,000, which is roughly a 37% increase, MicroStrategy will likely exceed $2,000 by far because it's only 25% away from $2,000. Again, purely hypothetical. I don't believe Bitcoin will reach $100,000 in the near future, but if it does, MicroStrategy will be worth at least $2,500, a 50% increase. That's at minimum. But if the ratio remains the same as it is now, it will increase even further. But again, stay tuned for updates on this channel. I will definitely be explaining what's happening. For now, with Bitcoin rising, cryptocurrency looks very promising. Nothing currently signals trouble. Therefore, there are no hints of any Bitcoin correction for now. But again, I remind you that sooner or later, a correction will definitely occur. The question is from which levels? Again, I don't know. If we look at the Bitcoin and stock charts, they certainly have some correlation, but as we can see, this stock is heavily leveraged, meaning it essentially operates on leverage. If you believe Bitcoin will rise, theoretically you can play the rise of Bitcoin through this company. But again, based on my experience, you might find my views overly conservative, but if I had to choose between buying MicroStrategy and buying Bitcoin, I would choose the latter. Yes, perhaps the growth won't be as strong there as in this company, but to me, holding Bitcoins is safer. Although again, taxes need to be considered because not all countries allow tax reporting for Bitcoin holdings, but it's absolutely possible with this stock. Also, I want to remind you that this company not only holds Bitcoins, but also has leverage on Bitcoins. If Bitcoin were to drop very low to $10,000, for example, whoever forecasted that for this company would face a margin call. So one must be extremely cautious with this company. As we can see, the volumes are significantly elevated. Personally, I don't have this company in my portfolio and I might stay away from it for now because cryptocurrency is a very unpredictable asset. Also, I would like to show you this chart. It's our 3D volatility, the 3D volatility of this company. But in reality, no matter how much we look at options, volatility or volume, everything will depend on cryptocurrency. So in this company, the company itself is not very important, but cryptocurrencies are crucial. If we look at options for this company, of course, the cost of options and premiums is extremely high. Look, a premium at $2,900 costs a whopping $25,000. That's a lot. For those with margin support, you could sell these options, but again, I absolutely do not recommend doing anything without knowledge because you could easily get wiped out if the company spirals out of control. I also advise you to watch my previous video about this company. I explained everything in detail about what could happen to this company. Good luck to everyone.